In this video, I want to talk about the features and updates that have been added to the Export Mixdown window. The biggest feature of this is being able to streamline the process and your workflow of using stems. So first off, let me just talk about this project. I've got a very simple project here of about 18 tracks. Some of these tracks have been grouped to group tracks over here. Then there's also an effects channel and then a marker track that includes some cycle locators. Now, if I go to File, Export, and then Audio Mixdown, this is the updated version of the Export Audio Mixdown window. Starting off with the channel selection, you can choose the single option where you can select one track and it'll export out just that. So maybe you just want to export out this pad sound over here, so I can select that and it'll export out just that track. Now, if you jump across to multiple, here you can select multiple tracks. So let's say I want to select my drum tracks. I can just click these and those will be exported out. But what's really nice is this feature over here, which will sync the selection to the tracks or channels that you select in your project. So if I take this and then I select, let's say, my drum tracks, maybe I only want to export out the drum tracks. There I've got my drum tracks. But the beauty comes in when I go over here and expand this export queue. I can now add a queue. Now what this has done is it's added a batch where it includes just those tracks. So the beauty is you can add multiple batches or jobs to this queue, and when you're finished, you can start your queue export out with multiple batch processes and export it out all in one go. So that is one batch where it's just the drums. Now let's do another where we select all the tracks. So I'm going to go and select my output tracks, the group tracks, the effects channels, and then all the audio channels. Now I want to add another queue with all of these. So I'll select add queue. Now that's batch 2 and it has all my tracks. You can see the number of files over here. Then let's say you just want to do an export out of your output, but you want to use a different audio format. So for example, say you want to select your output channel, but for the file type, you want a compressed format. This is just going to be a sort of draft file that you want to send to the person that's going to be mixing your track maybe, and you want to show them what you've done, but then they'll have the stems of all the other tracks so they can go in and mix it. So I want to select an MP3. I can choose the bitrate. Maybe I want that at 320, and I can add that to the queue as well. So there is the third batch with one file, and you can see the file path and the audio format that it's going to be using. So the file format is MP3, where the others are WAVs. Another thing to point out is you've got different options over here. So you can choose to include all your inserts and channel strips, or maybe you want to disable them. So I could select all my tracks again, and I don't want to include the effects. So that's got all the tracks. It's going to be a WAV file. And this time I want disabled. So it's just going to be dry effects. I'll add that to the queue. And then the other option over here is you could also choose to have the effects disabled, but include the groups and sends, or maybe include the master groups and sends. So you do have some flexibility on what you want to do if you want to disable effects. One more option that you can do is you can also choose to include export ranges. So maybe I want to take just this chorus. So I want to select all the tracks within the chorus and include that in a cycle range. So I'm going to select all the tracks. I'm going to go to my cycle markers, and I just want to export out chorus 1. So what this is going to do is it's going to include just this area, just that time range, but it's going to have all the tracks that are selected, but just for that. This comes in real handy if you're working to film and synchronization, where you've set up multiple queues. Maybe you've got queues for different sections within the film, but you only want to export out a specific section to hand over to the editors and producers. So I've got my chorus selected there. I'll add that to queue as well. And now if you look at everything, we've got 5 batches. So I know it's taken a lot of steps to set these all up. We've got 5 batches. If you find that there's something that you want to change, for example, maybe with this cycle marker on batch 5, I don't want to include my synths. I can just untick that and then click this update option, and it's going to update to the changes that I have made. And when you've got everything set up, you can click Start Queue, and it'll run through all these channel batches and export out the audio stems. And you can see the progress as it runs through all those channel batches. So that is how to export out multiple channel batches using the new multiple stem channel selection in Cubase 11. Catch you in the next video.